Hello humans, welcome back to Code with Connor, and this is the Let's Learn Python tutorial series. We are here in unit number 5, topic number 2, and we are getting so close to the end of the course. And I hope you're doing well, and I'm impressed that you're still here. Good on you. All right, going back to the challenge first, and then we'll jump into today's stuff, which is lists. It's a big topic. Here we go. Code for the challenge. Take the x1 and the y1, take the x2 and the y2, turn them into tuples, and then calculate the slope of the line. Here we go. All the inputs. Don't need to go over that at this point. You're pros. Awesome. Point 1, I store as a tuple, x1, y1. Point 2, I store as a tuple, x2, y2. Slope, y2 minus y1. So 0.2 box 1 minus 0.1 box 1 over x2 minus x1. 0.2 box 0 and 0.1 box 0. x2, x1. Do the division and then print the slope. That 23 shouldn't be there. It's gone now. It's fine. It's like it was never there at all. Okay. So that was just to test this kind of basic understanding of data structures, tuples, and all that fun stuff. I don't think you'll use tuples a ton in your life. You might, who knows? They're there. Lots of people love them, depending on what kind of project you're working on. I usually use lists, it's my go-to, but that's okay. You do you. All right, jumping over, we're going to talk about lists. Okay, here we are. We're going to talk about lists, what they are, how to set them up, how to use them, index, mutability, methods, all that fun stuff. Let's get right into it. I made a list. It's empty. You'll notice the notation. It's not round brackets. It's square brackets. Ooh, all right. Now you can make an empty list, or you can make a list that has stuff in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Oh, I put 2 different types of variables in that list. Can I do that? I mean, I don't know. How would I ever find out the answer to the can I do that question? Oh, I know. I do it, and I see what happens. Because I'm not going to break anything. Hey, look at that. It worked. Square brackets, comma separated values, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the string 5. It's all there. Okay. Now you can also set up an empty list and then add stuff to it, or you can just add stuff to a list that already has stuff in it. You can also override stuff. So for example, we tried to do this in tuples. Let's do it now. My list, box 0, I want it to now equal the string 1. And then I'm going to print my list. Let's save that and run. Hey, look at that. It works. It allows unit reassignment. So it allows us to reassign a value inside of the data structure or the list. All right. So now I can do this kind of however I want. I've got so much flexibility. What if I want to add something to my list? Ooh. Well, I'm going to let you on your own go check out the W3 Schools link to list methods because there's a bunch of them and you should kind of look at them. But I'll show you a few kind of nice ones. Append. It's one of my favorites. It adds something to the end of a list. So if I did append 6 and my list dot append 7, and then I print it, you can see that it has added those on. They weren't there when I originally started, but they're there now. That's great. So we can use pop, and this will let us put an index in, and it'll remove that one from the list. So let's say I want that 2 out of there. So I'm going to pop index 1, right? And then we run that. Okay, you can see the 2's gone because I popped it out. Now there's a little more to the pop method as well. And again, you'll learn this stuff as you get further on, but this actually lets you steal it while it's being pulled. So if you want to pull it, but then grab that to store somewhere or to print out to the user or whatever, it's actually going to return that value. So if I print that, for example, it's still going to remove it from my list, but it's going to allow me to use it one last time or store it in a separate variable one last time. See? So it actually printed it and then removed it. So you can actually pop it from a list, have it, use it for other stuff in your code, but then it's no longer in the list anymore, which is great. Okay? And there's lots of other ones here, and I'll let you go look up some of them, but I just wanted to talk core structure. So you set up a list with the square brackets. Now look at the size here. What about the size? So we can do a len as well, and we've done that before with strings. And it'll print out how many things are in it. So right now there's 7 things in my list. I got rid of that pop. So it's showing me that there's 7. So that's really helpful when we're looping, right? Because we're going to want to know that. So this is just a small snippet of what you can do. Now you can do multiple variable types. We're going to get later, you can do 2-dimensional lists. it's kind of crazy, and you're going to use lists a lot in your code because you're going to want to store stuff. And another thing that's really common is this combination of files and lists, where you'll read data in from a file, store it in a list, use the list variable to access all the stuff inside of your code, and then maybe write it or save it back into a file, kind of like a database. That becomes really common as well. Now, we don't usually write the background database code. We use something like MongoDB or whatever to handle that, and we just pull from the database. But that's what's happening in the background. These stuff is stored in files. It's being read into these data structures. Then we're accessing it through the data structures, modifying it, and it's getting written back to these files. That's how your profile exists on social media and all that. It's stored in files on servers. It's pulled from those files into data structures. Those data structures allow us to reference, modify, and then store it back. So we don't typically write it all from scratch. We use, existing code structures, but it's important to kind of have that base understanding because sometimes we do need to write stuff from scratch, and we want to have that kind of mindset of how it all connects together. All right, so I want you to play with lists. I want you to go look up some of the list functions, see what you can do. There's all kinds of cool stuff you can do, like counting things. Can I count how many of this occur in this list and all that kind of stuff? Play with it, see what you can do. And then we're gonna look at the challenge here and see what you can do for me. Okay, for the challenge, we're gonna go back in time to our Madlib game. Remember this thing? Enter an adjective, hairy. Enter a noun, computer. Enter a verb, run. I'm just going to finish filling it in. So I enter them all in, and it prints my same Madlib from earlier, but you guessed it, I'm using lists. So I have a single list variable where I'm storing all of the user responses. And then inside of my print statement, I'm pulling from that list in order to fill in my Madlib. So use a list and then store all the user responses into the list in order and then pull from that list to make your Madlib. Now you can go a step further with this if you want to, where you actually have a list of Madlibs and then those lists kind of get randomized and then from those we pick the right things. So this is the challenge for Unit 5. Topic number 2. Hopefully this goes well for you. Go out there, try it, see what you can do. Lists are awesome. You're going to love them once you get used to them. Like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And we'll see you back here for topic number 3, where we're going to look at 2D lists. See ya.